Hi guys, it's Mark Zicree, Mr. Sci-Fi, Mark Zicree of Space Command, and we're going to talk today about Pluribus, the new show from the wonderfully talented Vince Gilligan and Rhea Seehorn, the wonderful actress from Better Call Saul. Additionally, down there, I'm posting a link to the wonderful conversation that Vince Gilligan and I had about Twilight Zone and its influence and the history of television and so on and so forth. And this very much is a Twilight Zone kind of show, very, very strongly influenced by Twilight Zone. But science fiction is often dealing with loss of self as a horror element. So the question is, who are we and who are the other, And it's a very powerful theme, and it's usually been presented in a very dystopic, very negative way. So perhaps the most famous of these, and it's referenced in Pluribus, where Rhea Seehorn talks about pod people, and we've all seen that movie, is this, The Body Snatchers by Jack Finney. This was made into a great film called Invasion of the Body Snatchers, directed by Don Siegel and starring Kevin McCarthy, and then remade in later iterations and so forth. But the plot is very simple. People get taken over by pods from outer space, and they lose their identity, they lose their individuality, they become the other. And there are many, many iterations of this notion in one way or another. For instance, Richard Matheson's I Am Legend, in which everyone but one guy become sort of vampires, and this has been made again into a number of movies, and it inspired George Romero in creating Night of the Living Dead. So it's a very primal fear. But the challenge in any TV show is, how do you come up with a new idea? And I think that Vince Gilligan has really managed to do this in the show. Now, there's going to be spoilers, so if you haven't seen the show and don't want to have plot elements spoiled, then you can switch off now. But though the conversation with Vince Gilligan doesn't have spoilers, because he wasn't talking about the show in any detail back then, a few weeks ago. But here's the gist. It's simple. It starts similarly to the movie Contact, where we detect a signal from an alien culture 600 light years away in the Cygnus system, and we decode it, and it's a chemical formula, essentially, an RNA formula made up of those components. And when it's applied, it causes everyone on Earth to become one mind. And they don't lose who they are individually, but everyone has infinite knowledge from everyone on Earth. And it doesn't work with everyone. About 1 in maybe 7 people die. And 12 people in the entire world are not taken over, are not affected by this. And the group mind doesn't know why. But where this differs, and Rhea Seehorn, we see it from her point of view. And she's a writer of romance fiction, of romance fantasy fiction, and very popular, though she views it as hack work. And she's kind of a negative person, or at least a angry person. And the fun part is that for once, they really are presenting it, they're playing fair in a way, where it's like all people becoming one mind and being unable to hurt anyone, and wanting people to be happy, and having it be potentially benevolent. As one character says, no one is being robbed, no one is being killed. Basically, it's heaven on earth. And Rhea Seehorn, of course, objects to this. And it's wonderfully done. I've seen the first 2 episodes so far. I hope it sustains. Vince Gilligan has a history of ending TV shows well, of knowing where he's going. I think the ending of Better Call Saul is one of the greatest endings of any TV series ever. But he's the writer and director on these as well. And the scope of it is great. You actually see how a group mind would function, where people are able to trade off tasks seamlessly, and how, and there's one great sequence where a woman on the other side of the planet basically is loading bodies into a truck with some others, then gets on a scooter, then rides the scooter to an airplane, a big, cargo ship kind of plane, and then takes off and flies to theoretically New Mexico, where she says hi to Rhea Seehorn, and it's fascinating, and the actors are uniformly wonderful, and it just feels very real. Often there are scenes that are played almost in real time, where, for instance, when Rhea Seehorn drives from the bar to her home, encountering all these people who've been taken over by this biological imperative, as they call it. It feels like you're living it with her, and so I highly recommend this show. I think it's so far it's excellent, and you have it really is delving into, it's playing the mind game, the puzzle of, if it were an even playing field, would the alien takeover, or the takeover by alien technology, would it be right? And is Rhea Seehorn's character wrong? We don't know yet, and we don't know where we're going to go. And sustaining this it'll be very interesting to see how they sustain it. And also Rhea Seehorn, they set it up that her strong negative emotions have a very deleterious effect on those who've been taken over. So I'm fascinated by it. It's very fun. There's a lot of variety in it, and I want to see where it goes, and I want to take that journey with it. I don't think they'll drop the ball. I don't think they'll screw it up, based on Vince Gilligan's talent. I've known him since he was on X-Files, and he has certainly built a career that Rod Serling would applaud. And because the point of science fiction and fantasy, ideally, is to comment on our world. And this very much is commenting on our world in terms of, why are we so crazy? Why are we so violent? Why are we so self-destructive? What if that were taken away? What would that be like? And would it be something to fight against or to accept? These are all big questions and interesting questions. Back when Body Snatchers was written, and this is the first paperback edition, great cover art, the issue was being subsumed by some evil thing. And it's interesting because some liberals felt that it was celebrating individuality against the blacklist, where others felt that it was crying out against the uniformity, the mind control of communism. Again, it's a Rorschach test. It's different from where you're looking from to what you're seeing, but definitely, this whole notion has spawned a lot of great work in film, TV, books. You can certainly check out Invasion of the Body Snatchers. You can certainly check out I Am Legend. These are all wonderful pieces of work. And also, the whole notion of vampirism, the idea that vampires turn their victims into vampires, is a whole nother iteration of this, the person is not themselves anymore. So fun stuff, very fun stuff. So lots to talk about regarding Space Command and everything we're doing. If you want to invest or help in any way, we're shooting November 21st and 22nd with the great Bill Mumy. We're shooting December 13th, 14th, and 15th with Doug Jones and Bob Picardo. Every little bit helps. We're starting to ramp up to do the Showrunners Network with shows we're creating with Farscape's Rockne O'Bannon and Mark Ferguson, Hawk Ostby, the showrunners of The Expanse. Many great adventures ahead. And thanks for being here. Spread the word, subscribe, comment, do all the things you do. And we'll talk to you again real soon. Bye, guys.